Good day, everyone. This is Jenny's Fashion Channel. Thanks to all my amazing fans and subscribers. This channel is all about leveling up on your fashion designing skill. And today, I'm going to teach you how to cut this beautiful built-up neckline dress with basque waistline. So if it is what you are all about, you are definitely at the right place. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, now will be a very good time for you to smash on the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a new video. Without further ado, let's jump right in, shall we? The first thing is to draw a line as my baseline. Then I'm going to draw a vertical line here because the edge of my paper is not straight and this paper is not unfold, okay? Then I'm going to take out about 2.5 inches for the built-up neckline. I will mark and I'm going to draw the line. Then the next thing is to get my neck curve. And I'm using 3 inches for my neck width and 7.5 inches for my neck depth. I will mark and I'm going to connect like so. Then I'm going to take my shoulder measurement, divide by 2. I will mark it. Then I'm going to come down from the shoulder point by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. I will mark it and I'm going to connect it to the neck width like so. Then the next thing is to get my armhole depth. And for me to get my armhole depth, I'm going to take my bust measurement, divide by 6 plus 1.5 inches. I'm going to mark it and I'm going to connect like those. Then I'm going to draw a horizontal line from those points as my chest line. Then I'm going to get my armhole curve. And for me to get my armhole curve, I'm going to get the midpoint of this my armhole line. I will mark it. Then from those points, I'm going to go in by 1/2 inch. I will mark it. Then on the chest line, I'm going to take my bust measurement, divide by 4. I will mark it on the chest line. And I'm going to connect these 3 points like so to get a perfect armhole curve. Then I'm going to take my vertical measurement. I'm going to come down by 10 inches for my bust line. I will mark it and I'm going to draw the line. Then the next thing is to get my under bust line. And for me to get my under bust line, I'm going to come down by 3.5 inches from the bust line. But if you're of a bigger size, you come down by 4 inches. If you're of a smaller size, you come down by 3 inches. I will mark and I'm going to draw the line. Then I'm going to come down by 16.5 inches for the waistline. And for the full top length, I'm going to use 20 inches, okay? I will mark and I'm going to draw the lines. Then the next thing is to get my bust span. So I'm going to take my nipple to nipple measurement, divide by 2. I'm going to add 1/2 inch for joining allowance. I will mark it on the bust line. Then I'm going to connect it straight down to the full top length, okay? Then the next thing is to get my under bust dart. And for me to get my under bust dart, I'm going to take the difference between the bust line and the under bust line. And I have 3.5 inches there. So I'm going to divide it by 2. It will give me 1.75 inches. I will divide 1.75 inches by 2 again. It will give me 0.88 inch. So I'm going to take 0.88 inch to the left and 1.75 inches to the right. Away on the same page. Then from the bust point, I'm going to come down by 1 inch. This is to remove any form of pointiness on the bust area. I will mark it and I'm going to connect it to the under bust dart like so. Then I will connect the underbust dart straight down to the waistline like so. Then from this my full top length, I'm going to go up by half an inch. You know, this is not a complete blouse length, okay? This is just on 20. If it was a complete blouse length, I'm going to go up by 2 inches, okay? But those one, I'm going to go up by just half an inch. I will mark and I'm going to connect it to the waist dart like so. Then the next thing is to get where the princess dart will fall. So I'm going to measure this my armhole curve, okay? And I have about 9 inches there. So I'm going to get the midpoint of it, okay? It will give me 4.5 inches. I will mark it and I'm going to connect it to the bust point like so. Then from those points, I'm going to go up by half an inch and go down by half an inch to form a dart. Then I'm going to connect it to the bust point like so. Then I'm going to measure this my dart intake here and I have 1 inch. So I'm going to replace it here. So from those points, I'm going to extend this line with 1 inch, okay? Then on the chest line, I will also add 1 inch there. Then I'm going to connect these 2 points like so to create a new armhole curve. Because if I cut without extending, the armhole curves will not align. Then I will go ahead and take my horizontal measurement. On the chest line, I will add 2 inches for joining allowance. On the bust line, I'm going to take my bust measurement divide by 4 plus 2 inches for joining allowance. I will mark it. On the underbust line, I'm going to take my underbust measurement divide by 4. I'm going to replace this dart intake here plus 2 inches for joining allowance. I will mark it. On the waistline, I'm going to take my waist measurement divide by 4. I'm going to replace this dart intake here plus 2 inches for joining allowance. I will mark it. Then I'm going to connect my markings like so to serve as a guide for cutting. Then for the basque effect, I'm going to go out by 1.5 inches from those points, okay, to create that basque effect that you can see on the dress. Then I'm going to connect the waist point to it like so. Then for the built-up neckline, I'm going to go off from those points by 2 inches. You can use 2.5 inches, but I advise you should not go higher than 2.5 inches. I will mark and I'm going to connect like so, okay? Then from those points, okay, I will go in by half an inch. Then from those my neck weight, I will go out by half an inch, okay? Then I'm going to connect the 2 points like so to give it a perfect shape. Then I'm going to get the midpoint of this my neck depth, okay? I'm going to mark it. Then I'm going to connect this half an inch I went in with from those points to 8 like so. And also from those points, I'm going to give it that V curve you can see on the dress. All of this depends on the neck curve of the dress, okay? Then I'm going to add half an inch joining allowance on the shoulder up to the built-up neckline, okay, following those curves. Then I'm going to connect like so. So guys, this is it for drafting. You can see how pretty it looks already. We'll now go ahead and cut. So follow me closely. Let's cut. So guys, this is it. You can see how perfect it came out. If this my pattern paper was on fold, it would come out full the way it should be, okay? We now move on to the back panel. The first thing is to draw a line as my baseline, taking about 2.5 inches off, okay? for the built-up neckline. Okay, that's we are going to leave 2.5 inches allowance for the built-up neckline. Then I'm going to take my zipper allowance, okay, and I'm using 1 inch. I will mark and I'm going to draw the line. Then the next thing is to get my neck curve, and I'm using 3 inches for the neck width and 1 inch for the neck depth. I will mark and I'm going to connect like so. Then I'm going to take my shoulder measurement, divide by 2. I will mark it. Then I'm going to come down by 1 inch from the shoulder point for the shoulder slope. I will mark it and I'm going to connect it to the neck width like so. Then I'm going to get my armhole depth. So I'm going to come down by 8 inches, okay, for the armhole depth as we calculated on the front part of the dress. I will mark and I'm going to connect like so. Then I will draw a horizontal line from those points as my chest line. Then the next thing is to get my armhole curve. So I'm going to get the midpoint of this my armhole line. I will mark it. Then on the chest line, I'm going to take my bust measurement, divide by 4. I will mark it on the chest line. Then I'm going to connect these 2 points like so to get a perfect armhole curve for the back parts. Then I will take my vertical measurement. I will come down by 10 inches for the bust line and come down by 16.5 inches for the half cut. Then I will add half an inch, okay, for joining allowance. The back part does not have basque waistline. It stops at the half cut length, okay. Then I will draw the lines. Then the next thing is to get my bust span. So I'm going to take my nipple to nipple measurement, divide by 2. I will mark it on the bust line. Then I'm going to connect it straight down to the joining allowance line like so. Then from this my waist point, I'm going to go in by half an inch and go out by half an inch to form a dot. Then I'm going to extend this my bust line, okay, with 1 inch. I will draw the line and I'm going to connect it to the waist dot like so. Then I will take the horizontal measurement on the chest line. I'm going to add 2 inches for joining allowance. On the bust line, I'm going to take my bust measurement, divide by 4 plus 2 inches for joining allowance. On the waistline, I'm going to take my waist measurement, divide by 4. I'm going to replace this dot intake here plus 2 inches for joining allowance. I will mark it and I'm going to mark the same thing on the joining allowance line. Then I will connect my markings to serve as a guide for cutting. Then from this waist point, I'm going to go in by half an inch. This is to remove any form of bulginess on the waist area. I will mark and I'm going to connect like so. Then for the built-up neckline, I'm going to go up by 2 inches from this my neck weight, okay, just the same way we did on the front part of the dress. I will mark and I'm going to connect like so. Then from those points, I'm going to go in by half an inch. Then from this my neck weight point, I'm going to go out by half an inch. Then I'm going to connect the 2 markings, okay, to give it a perfect curve. Then from those points, I'm going to go down by 1/4 of an inch. I will mark and I'm going to connect like so. Then I will add half an inch joining allowance. Start from the built-up neckline, okay, to the shoulder line. I will connect my markings. Then for the zipper allowance, I will start taking my 1 inch zipper allowance. From that half an inch, I went in with on the waist area, and I'm going to carry on like so. Then I will connect my markings. So guys, that's a side. We'll now go ahead and cut. So let's cut. So guys, that's a it for the back panel. It is that simple. You can see that the built-up neckline and the shoulder line or the front part and the back part perfectly aligned. So guys, that's our side. You are going to add half and then joining allowance on those damn parts. So guys, you can see how perfect it came out. And this is all I have for you for today. If you found this tutorial helpful, please subscribe, comment, like and share. See you in my next video. Bye.